Hi guys, my name is Veronica. I'm from Peru and I always these movies. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your work. And my first question is, how do you shape your voice for this series? How do you work?
Well, for myself, I've done a lot of different animation where I change my voice a lot. And oh, you know what? I do change my voice for this.
Yeah.
I play a Dr. Phosphorus. He sounds a lot like me, which is rare. I usually change my voice a lot, but I also play other roles within it. I'm those dudes. I'm like the guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm one of those
The first episode.
yeah, the brothers of Obscure or whatever. No way. And he's got a gun. And so I play, and that's how I changed my voice for that. He's like a beach bum, like, no way, those guys.
He's like one of the Californians.
Yeah,
from
man.
SNL.
Yeah.
I didn't have to change anything. John Economist is my voice. John Economist is my personality. I showed up 5 minutes early. They gave me the script. I read line by line. James gave me direction. And here I am talking to you in Spain.
And obviously it's a new era for DC Studios. And what has changed?
So much. Well, James Gunn's in charge now. I think that's the main difference. And if you know his work, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, that has a quality to it, has a character to it. You know, his work, a James Gunn film when you see it, or a TV show when you see it. It's always surprising for me anyway. I'm always blown away at how funny it is. It's humor that catches me off guard.
Yeah.
I always think it's going one way, and then it shocks me. And people can be suddenly very petty or cruel to one another, or vulnerable. Somebody who's very tough and a superhero will be quickly vulnerable and tug at your heartstrings. So I think that there's going to be some, maybe a little more dimension and humanity brought to the shows, the comic books, all of these stories that if you know them from DC comic books that are being brought to life, they're going to be it'll be a little more in depth.
Yeah, and it's expanding beyond movies into television and animated. I mean, this is the first release under the new DC universe, and it's an animated series, which is awesome. So I think there's going to be a lot more surprises too in the coming years.
Great. And the other interviews, your colleagues have told us about the soundtrack. And what do you think about it?
I only watched the first 4 episodes a couple days ago, and one of the first things I noticed was the music. It's a picture of James, to put like original cool music into his series and into his movies.
Yeah.
It's an Eastern European sound. Some of the music I know is from the Gypsy Punks, Bordello. Anyway, I love the music. I have some of those albums, so I was excited to hear it, in our show.
And when did you know about the original comic book series, and what was about this project caught your attention?
Nothing. Absolutely. Oh no, I knew nothing about the comic books. Just like a lot of things that James has educated me on. But when I read it, I was just obsessed with it. I loved it. I basically looked up who's Dr. Phosphorus, how did he get here? But it was really in reading the scripts that I learned the most. I think James took it one step further. He really did. And in putting these characters together, how they play off one another, this is brand new. That you're not going to find it in a comic. You can find them individually, and you can find creature commandos, but these creatures together, this is new.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot about this. The only elements I was familiar with were obviously John Economist and Amanda Waller, and to some extent Rick Flag Sr., because I've been shooting season 2 of Peacemaker with with Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. So all the other characters, much like other James Gunn projects, I was unaware of. He's got a very vast knowledge of comic books. In fact, usually when we're doing scenes and a character is brought up, I have to specifically go up to James and ask, is this a character based on something in one of the comic books, or is it made up out of your head? And 75% of the time, it's a character from the comic books. That's how deep his knowledge of comics goes.
And my last question is, what do you think fans will like most about this series? And what was the first comic you remember reading?
Ooh. Wow.
The first comic I ever read was an Archie comic. Yeah, the show Riverdale is based on the comics of Archie. That's how old I'm 55. So that ages me a little bit. But the Archie comics, I don't have a big knowledge of comic books. My knowledge until I met James didn't reach far beyond Superman and Batman and Spider-Man.
I think my first comic was a Marvel comic, and I'm not talking about that. Aquaman.
Ooh,
I think
DC.
Aquaman was my first DC comic. I always thought he would smell like fish.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It confused me because nobody was going, Jesus, man.
You smell like the sea.
Yeah, you stink. It's like catch of the day.
You.
Woo, wash it off.
Ew.
You smell like a chum line.
You smell like paella.
It's like hot day at the bait shop.
Are you in Madrid?
In New York.
Oh, okay.
But now, for the panel, I have my whistle.
Oh, well, then we'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah, see you on the panel. Thank you so much, guy. And I love your work. Thank you for everything. Thank you a lot.
Thanks, Veronica.